Hello, welcome back. It is Wednesday, July 28th. Hope your day was pretty good in the market. We had PAL, Fed minutes, and GME. Great news and a good dump. So we'll talk about the market and GME, and that's it. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Market kind of just stayed pretty flat today. I was waiting for the FOMC, and then we had some volatility around that when Powell was speaking. Some stuff changed on it. I'm not going to go over it. I'm not the best source on all the technicalities, but the tone I think is pretty much bullish, and Powell definitely is the master of calming the seas. So even if everything's on fire, he's not going to be running around frantic. He's going to say it's transitory or it's fine. Looking at the chart here on the daily, SPY's still bullish on the daily, and we still have this MACD that's crossed over. We've got green over the 9 moving. Looks like it's just kind of consolidating, maybe setting up for another run, maybe some more all-time highs, yada, yada, yada. On the hourly, it's just kind of sideways. I mean, it just looks like it's consolidating, really. So my bearish plays on SPY need to wait and hold off a bit longer so we have some more confirmation. And the calls, whoever's doing, SP 500 or SPY calls, they can do pretty well, pretty easily, it seems. Any dip, it's just the dip by year, 100%. So GME, the big news, if you may or may not have heard, is it's entering the S&P. Is it 400? S&P 400 inclusion. It's leaving the S&P 600. I believe I'm going to the SP 400. With that should come a lot of buying pressure. So I think it's 40 million dollars worth. What was it? This might actually be net. I'll read this really quick so you know. There's a few different write-ups on it. This is from Carbon Atoms. It will be the top 5 market cap in that index, S&P 400. $550 million inflow expected from the index ETFs with 90 billion. I'd look up AUM, assets under management. It makes sense in the context. Executive summary: GME with market cap of 13 billion so far joins S&P 400 mid cap. That market cap will be the 5th largest among the index 400 companies. ETFs that track the index in total have about 90 million assets under management. As the top 5 market cap, GME is expected to make up 0.61% of the funds. Therefore, about 550 million worth of GME is expected to be bought. And I think because there's going to be selling too on it leaving the S&P 600, but I think that's a lot less to be included. SP index, okay. Yeah, I saw one write-up showing basically how many shares would be sold to leave one and enter this one, and it's the net gain on it. This might actually even be the net gain, I'm not sure, but it's a significant amount. So we should see a lot of buying pressure on it. Typically, even news of a stock entering the S&P 400 is very bullish, and after the news, they usually run up. I think on average was like 9% the next day on the news, and then another like 15% once it's included. But GME in its beautiful fashion, this awesome news, and it just had a crazy sell-off today. It wasn't crazy. I shouldn't say sell-off. People don't like sell-off. It's not a sell-off. No one's selling. Okay, not a sell-off. That's an expression you use when a stock's going down. Anyways, yeah, it was a down like 7% or so down here. Found a nice floor, found a nice bottom. If you watched yesterday's video, I was saying we're in a range, so it's bearish in the short term. But as long as we stay above this support, this 158 will be good. I expected it to maybe find support at the 175 or down here, kind of where it did, or even a little lower. I mean, it could come lower. Yeah, as long as it stays above kind of this support we set back here, I think we're fine. We're in a flat trend of consolidation. And on the hourly, it's still bearish. It does look like it's kind of setting up a floor here, so not certain it'll make lower lows before we break out to the upside, but it could. It could. So on the daily, we haven't closed. Actually, got only 3 minutes left. Look, it's another one of those sliver days. So on the daily on the MACD, it's just slivering in the green. any bit of drop to the downside, it's going to close red on the daily MACD, which is fine. So it looks like, I would say we're doing this double week thing, this 2 weeks where it does this for now, unless if something happens the next, let's see, today's Wednesday. Yeah, so we have 2 days. 2 days, and if we don't get this crazy price action the next, either this one or this one, the next 2 days, then we'll probably have another week of kind of consolidating or so, maybe half a week. But see, back here it went bullish and then bearish on the MACD and then bullish, and just this whole time of consolidating. So we might be going through that with this one. It might not just be MACD crossover and then rip. However, is it 8.4? Yeah, so the SP400 inclusion it's actually on the 4th. So this is a much bigger deal than GME changing Russells, because it's a lot bigger ETF, I believe, and it will cause much more buying power. So with that, it should be bullish overall. I think today, they try and short it when there's good news on GME. So as you see, yesterday, 727, they had 25,000 shares available to short. This is kind of not great data, but then they made, I use that word very, very specifically. They made this 175,000 shares, and then they used those to short again today and drop it down. So now it's showing hardly any shares available to short. And so, yeah, that's in good fashion though for GME. And so it dropped, but that doesn't mean that the huge buying pressure isn't going to come in before the 4th. And I think it probably will. And the TA it lines up with that too. I mean, even though TA was red, we could still have a big rally. This MACD is still bullish. Our RSI is fine. It's even a little bit oversold. We're still hanging out above this support. So there's no reason why this can't just explode right now. When we're having a day like this, and the momentum is so far down, and I'm just like, all right, it's probably not going to have a big green day this day. But now that we've consolidated for almost 2 weeks now, this was kind of just the first drop. But now that we've done that, and the momentum is shown here with the moving average convergent divergence indicator, this MACD. So now that we've done that, I could say any day. Also, next week on 8.4 is the London fork for Ethereum, the upgraded Ethereum, which there's 4 o'clock, ding, 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 which basically allows cheaper contract prices, gas fees are less. I'm not super well versed on crypto, but basically technology that I think GameStop wants to use for their company, for either NFTs or whatever, the used game thing. I think it's technology they're waiting for Ethereum to implement, and that is going live next Wednesday, as well as the S&P inclusion. And my one crazy theory was that, well, so basically this next quarter, which actually closes on Saturday for GME, if this quarter closes and they're profitable, that they've met all the criteria they've needed to get into the S&P 500, which is the SPY tracks it also, which is our infamous SPY. So if they're in that, then as you know, the negative beta and GME crashing the market crashing, GME rocketing, I wonder if they're waiting for GME, they're controlling the price for GME until it's in the S&P 500, so that the overall market and the overall ETFs don't crash. GME holds it up, everything dumps, but overall 401ks, the casual looker, it's no big deal. Everything's flat. I don't know, just kind of one of my thoughts I was thinking about, because we've kind of watched it go through these different ETFs, and I just was wondering if that was maybe the case. However, I feel like it's probably going to happen before then, the squeeze, because I think it'd be at least over a month. No, it'd be like 2 months before it was actually included, if that was if it was done as fast as possible. So it doesn't mean they would accept it, even though it's eligible. Tesla they didn't accept the first time. So, but today, big news on GME is all this volume. So I think this is the inclusion to the ETF, and we've got more volume today than we've had in a while. 3.9 million back here was the last time we had that much, which was, I guess, not terribly long ago, 2 weeks ago. This dry volume here has just been silly, but it's negative volume. It's red today. But we had a nice epic bounce, and let me show you guys the options. So as you know, I'm kind of in a margin call dance right now, and it's on a credit spread. And I bought puts yesterday to basically satisfy my margin requirements, and I was like, this is a win-win, because yesterday to me right here looked bearish, and then sure enough today we dropped like 8%. So the problem is I have to have some of those puts to satisfy margin, so I couldn't sell all of them. Anyways, about down here, actually I sold it at about the right time. I sold one of them, and I'll probably do this again if it looks like another bearish day. I mean, we didn't have enough of a bounce for me to think that it's going to drop heavy anymore, but anyways, yeah, it was the 170, so I still have one of them. So I bought two 170 puts yesterday, and then today they went up. They were up, I think, like 200% at one point, and I was like, let me just try and sell one of these and see if I still have margin. And I did, and I sold one, and that one that I sold, actually, it not only paid for the premium I paid on both, but I even made some money on it. So this is one way I might dance around this margin until this squeeze happens, because yeah, I mean, that's only if the puts are going up in value, of course. Otherwise it's just kind of a fee you have to pay. But yeah, if I can time it right with buying the puts, buying enough of them so I can sell enough to make it free, because then this one I can't close it. I mean, I definitely can't close it now, it's closed, but you have insufficient funds in your account to cover this order. Isn't that strange when you're trying to sell something? I don't have enough money to sell something. But now we have cash buying power, margin buying power, day trading buying power. So if there's some squeeze does start to happen, I'll be able to load up on some calls. I got a couple for next week just on that dip. I was like, real small, only got 9 300 calls. Premium's low enough. It's not a big play, but I will scale into this if it seems if we have volume and big price action, basically. So just kind of a little entry play on that. Let me see, do we do? Yeah, that's it. That's a nice mellow day. Yep, not a whole lot of history there, but our SPX call credit spread expired worthless because SPY is the never-ending money printing ticker, and it's probably going to stay flat and then rip again because it's still bullish. So just, yeah. Anyways, GameStop looks good. It could come down some more. Be prepared for it to get close to testing this 158, kind of 160. Even if it does break below that, if it's kind of a quick one with a wick, you know, on the short time frame, not necessarily a terrible thing. We're still, let's see, is it still? It's just a little sliver. Yep, today closed and we're still bullish on the MACD. So we might even stay bullish on it before we run up. This, let's see, this is the next 2 days is the last week of this trading week. So my thesis about it running up at the end of the month, we'll see. Only have 2 days left, which isn't looking too good yet, but could be the first week of next month, which has happened. That's what happened here. This is the last week, and then the first week of the new month. But so many regulations have changed, so many things have changed since that it's possible that that's just not happening. We have a Discord if you guys want to get on, and we have a Twitter if you guys want to follow us on there. At Happy Money YT. Our man RC is a Olympian fan. Oh, GameStop throwing out the Canadian flag. Oh, because, yeah, that was the other big news. I forgot. They changed tons of bullish news on GME today. That's why it's extra cheap. They changed the EB games in Canada to GameStop. So that's good. I don't think they announced that. Here's RC's tweet. Power to the players, United States, Canada. Once the squeeze happens, you're gonna have so much money, you're gonna have your own ice rink and be able to ice skate and play ice hockey. That's how I interpret this. Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Peace out.